Hi all, this is going to be the last video which covers the topics of module 1 of professional ethics. So in the last class or in the last video we have discussed about various topics from module 1 and we ended up with what is the whole concept of respecting others. So next topic from module 1 is what do you mean by caring and sharing. It's a self-explanatory concept, but I would like to put it in a very nutshell form in order to understand what I mean by the whole concept of caring and sharing. We'll be starting with what I mean by the concept caring. Caring includes feelings, relationships, and protecting others and causing least damages to others. We normally used to say that he's like very caring or she's very caring. Normally this happens or these kind of statements is being made when you are in a relationship, like she is very caring or he is very caring. So caring means basically to protect the feelings, protect the emotions of others without causing much damage. And it is a feeling to protect, what the best emotions that you feel for others. It also includes showing respect to the feeling of others and also respecting and preserving the interest of all others concerned. So caring is basically, as I rightly mentioned, it is a protection or it is a way in which you actually keep the emotions of others in a right way as such. Now, what is sharing? Caring is different from sharing. So sharing means sharing of feelings, ideas, thoughts, resource and profit. And sharing is always mutually beneficial and it's a positive attitude. Sharing basically starts from your family, because when in your childhood days itself, when you get something, it is being taught by your parents that share it with somebody else or share it with your family members. So the whole concept of sharing and caring basically starts from your family. And sharing is a voluntary and it cannot be driven by force, but it is motivated and successfully through ethical principles. So this whole concept of sharing and caring, as I rightly mentioned, which is being inculcated by the family, it is that's a emotion. That means the family is the right place to start or to inculcate these feelings as such. And sharing should be genuine, legal, positive, and without any expectations, because normally in this complex world, when you pretend to be caring and when you pretend to be very sharing or kind of nature, it has some sort of very on interest behind that. Because there are people in organization or there are people in the firms, they pretend to be very caring, but they have their own self-interest behind that. But that is not the real sense of caring and sharing. It should be genuine. It should come from your heart as such. The next topic which we're going to deal with is your honestly. So as we talk in the very normal life, it is all about what do you mean by honest nature, or it's all about speaking the truth, how truthful you are, how trustful you are. So honesty is speaking the truth, how best you can speak the truth in front of anyone. So being honest means you act in such a way that you know is the right thing to do. So honesty is nothing but it is a way in which you act that you know what right exactly you want to do. That's what the honesty means. Examples. Being honest, we come across different situations in life where being honest. There are situations in which honesty means you don't say things about people which are not true. In social media or even in our day-to-day life, we used to come across many rumors about the people. This actually happens with the film industry, because if a particular person, if a particular hero or heroine in a very topmost position or in a very superstar position, it is others' tendency to spread rumors about others or rumors about that super heroes and super heroines. So don't spread the news, don't spread the rumors about other person which are not true. Then there are moments in which being honest means you admit your action even when you get in trouble. Because when you are in a trouble or when you feel that you are going to a trouble situation kind of thing, when there is a tendency in each and every individual to say lies or you fake yourself. But being honest means even if you are in a trouble or even if you yourself in a trouble situation, you have to be honest. You have to speak truth in any particular situation as such. Honesty also means that you explain how a situation really happened. For example, there are cases in which when in court, the trials happens in the court. Okay, so when the advocates comes, there is a judge over there. The advocates come and they actually conduct the trials. So when the trials progress, there will be somebody called as a witness in that particular situation or in that particular case. When it comes to witness, we expect the witness to speak, to explain the incident in such a way that it really happened. So honesty also means that you need to explain things in a very real and truthful manner. So these are some examples, or these are some situations that we come across when it comes to honesty. Honesty is a virtue, and it is expected or it is exhibited in two broad aspects. So it's a virtue and it is being expected in two aspects, that is truthfulness and trustworthiness. So when you call a person, or when you say that he is a very honest person, or he is very honest, we used to say that he is very honest. When you say he is very honest, means that it can be considered in two different perspectives: truthfulness and his trustworthiness. So truthfulness is nothing but it is to face the responsibility upon telling truth. He is responsible. He never minds whatever happens, even whatever happens, even he speaks of the truth. So he is very truthful in any situation. But when it comes to trustworthiness, it is all about the maintaining the integrity and taking responsibility for personal performance. So trustworthiness is basically related with loyalty. He's very loyal in such a way that he's very integral in nature. His integrity level is very different, and his integrity level is high also. So honesty, the nature being a virtue, it can be viewed into two different aspects, that is your trustworthiness and your truthfulness. Now, what do you mean by the concept living peacefully? It's a very self-explanatory kind of thing. Living peacefully means in a society when you live in a very peaceful situation. No much social chaos, no social confusions, no communal riots, no race issues. There is no segregation, no discrimination, no separation between rich and poor. These are the different connotations, or these are the different aspects of living peacefully. In professional ethics, living peacefully means one should install peace with himself or herself, which means that living peacefully basically starts from ourselves. When as an individual, if I decide to live in a very peaceful situation, automatically that actually pass on to my family. So then the family decide to live in a very peaceful situation. When each and every family decide to live in a very peaceful situation, automatically that actually passes or trickle down to the society. So the society decide to live in a very peaceful situation without any issues. And automatically when society decide to live in a very peaceful situation, that is where we call it as the quality of life is very improved. Because normally we used to say that the countries like Norway, Sweden, all those countries, Schengen countries, are very good and very high in quality of life because of the fact that they are very peaceful and their social setup is being like without much social issues, no social chaos or confusions like that. So when you talk about living peacefully, it basically starts from each individual. Now, what are the factors promotes peaceful? Means what are the positive sides, or how best we can actually ensure peaceful living in a society? The first one is conducive environment. It is a responsibility of each and every individual. It is a responsibility of political parties. It is a responsibility of government. It is a responsibility of each and everyone to have a conducive. Conducive means a very good, very protective environment to live in. Next one, absence of unnecessary interference or disturbance except as guidelines, which means that there should not be a very rigid kind of rules and regulations in society. Each and every society, they have their own set of rules and regulations. Each individual or each citizen are expected to behave accordingly, but it should not be like very rigid or very strict kind of system. Next one, healthy labor relationship and family situations. In this particular situation, we are trying to say that we should maintain a balance between your professional life and your family life. One cannot be very professional to the work and unprofessional to the family. He or she should be balanced both professional life and your family life as such. Last one is secure job and motivated with recognition and rewards, etc. The last one which we can ensure, the last thing where we can actually helps to promote peaceful living is that you should have a secure job and you should have a secured earnings too. When you have a secure job and secured earnings, you are like very peaceful. You can, you don't have much tensions, or you don't have much social chaos in the society as such. So these are the points which you have to keep in mind in order to have a peaceful living in the society. The next topic from module 1 is your courage. So courage is basically a tendency to accept and face risk and difficult tasks in rational ways. So courage, again, it is a common word which is being used in our everyday life, right? So courage is basically, it is a responsibility, or it is a tendency to accept, yes, or risk. Because normally much of this individuals in the workspace or even in the family, they don't have the courage to accept the mistakes that they have done. So courage is basically it is a tendency, or it is a nature of individual to accept the risk what they have done, or the trouble that they have faced, or the mistakes that they have done, anything for that matter. And self-confidence is a very basic requirement to nurture the courage. So in order to have a good courage, or in order to have a good level of courage, the basic requirement is self-confidence. If you have self-confidence, if you are very confident enough, you have that courage to take up responsibilities and take up tasks, and to do it in a very creative manner. So courage is very important for the professional and your personal growth. Now, courage has been divided into 3 types. All right. So the whole concept of courage has been broadly divided into 3 types based on the types of risk that you accept. The first one is a physical courage. The second one is your social courage. And the third one is your intellectual courage. So starting with your physical courage. So physical courage is nothing but your physical strength, your muscle power to resist your rivals. All right. So it's all about your physical or your muscle power as such. Social courage means it's all about your leadership quality. How best you can lead a team, how best you can guide a team. It is all about your social courage. How socially good you are, or how socially best you are. That is what we call it as your social courage. The next one is your intellectual courage. Your intellectual courage not much deals with your IQ. It's not about your intellectual quotient, your knowledge base, or your know-how, nothing like that. Your intellectual courage means your level of empathy and sacrifice. How best you can empathetic to others, or how best you can actually understand the feelings, emotions of others, and how best you can sacrifice your interest for the sake of others. That's what we call it as intellectual courage. So the courage divided into 3. You have your physical courage, you have your social courage, and you have your intellectual courage. The next one is what we call it as cooperation. The concept of cooperation is very important in any kind of society, or for any kind of job that you are into. For example, if you're doing a group project, or if you're doing a combined project, or class trips, or IVs, or even in a workspace, if you're doing a combined project, or if you're dealing with a client, whatever things that you are doing, cooperation is must. So cooperation between employees enhances the productivity and increases the efficiency of that particular company. So it is a team spirit. So cooperation is basically a team spirit present in every individual. So it is actually a virtue which is being present in ourselves. It is our responsibility to make it grow. And cooperation is an activity between 2 persons or sectors that aims integration of operations, while not sacrificing the autonomy of either party. So cooperation is nothing but when you come into a group, if you are into a group of 5, your cooperation is nothing but how best you work, how best you integrate with your group members. Normally, if a group assignment is done or group assignment is being entrusted with you, you have a 5-team group. Normally, the cooperation can be explained in such a way that you actually divide the task into 5 people. Introduction being done by one person, then body of that particular assignment is by another person, conclusion is for another person, presentation is being done by another 2 persons. So this is how the cooperation works in a smaller group. So it is nothing but it is integrating between people, how best you can work within a group. And cooperation also promotes collinearity, coherence and coordination with others. So it's basically, it actually increases the coordination and the energy or the synergy, what we call it as the energy and the growth between the good relationship between the employees or between the people. And the absence of cooperation leads to lack of communication and misinformation. So when you don't have a proper cooperation between employees in particular firm, it actually leads to issues of miscommunication, it leads to misinformations, and it can cause damage to the growth of that particular company. So cooperation is nothing but, it's a very simple term. Cooperation is a tendency to integrate, to coordinate the activities with others and to work well in a group. The last but one topic is your commitment. What do you mean by commitment? When we normally when we talk about the word commitment, it actually deals with a level of dedication. We normally used to say that he is very dedicated person. He is very dedicated in his work. She is very dedicated. She is very loyal, and those kind of things. So when it comes to dedication or when it comes to commitment, it actually reflects through the whole concept of dedication. So commitment means acceptance of responsibilities and duties. For example, if I'm entrusted to cover the portions of professional ethics, it is my commitment to finish the portions before the exam, to conduct the internal assessment, to allot the internals, and to prepare yourself for the end semester exam. So commitment is basically, it is a taking of the responsibilities and duties. Commitment means alignment to goals and adherence to ethical principles during the activities. So commitment, it also refers to the taking of responsibilities, as I already mentioned. It is also, it's an alignment to goals. It is a virtue that you actually require to achieve that particular goal. So my goal being a professional ethics teacher is to make sure that the students who is appearing for professional ethics paper for Kerala Technological University clears the paper. That means you secure 40 marks out of 100. So that is my goal. So it is a virtue in order to achieve your goals too. Now, why commitment? Your commitment helps to maintain quality. In order to maintain the quality of work, you need a commitment. You have a dedication in your work. To attain production targets. So my target is, as I rightly mentioned, to make sure that everybody attempts for professional ethics paper clears the paper. So that's my target. So commitment level is very important. In decreasing complaints from team members. When you are committed, when you are dedicated to a particular work, then automatically the complaints from your team members reduces, because you actually listen to others. You accept the good features, or you accept good ideas from them. So automatically the complaints decreases or reduces. Then limited conflict between team members. If you are committed, if you are dedicated, then you can actually lead the team as such. So there will be, the conflict or the friction between the employees reduces. The next topic is your empathy. What do you mean by empathy? You are familiar with the word sympathy, but the whole concept of empathy is different from sympathy. So being sympathetic or sympathy means sensing what others feel about without their open talk is the essence of empathy. So empathy is basically understanding others' feelings even without talking to them. That's what we call it as empathy. All right, so it is basically protecting or putting ourselves in others' shoes. We should be in a position to understand how in that particular situation person A feels. That is what we call it as empathetic. Now, what are the benefits of empathy? Being empathetic, you could have a good customer relationship because you are a producer. For example, you are a producer. You should be empathetic in such a way that you know how the customers think about that particular product. So in order to have a good customer relationship, you should be empathetic in nature. Then next one, in order to have a harmonious labor relationship. For example, you own a company, you're an owner, you're an entrepreneur, and under you there are like 500 employees. But in order to understand their feelings, you need to be in their position in such a way that you can have a good relationship between your employees. So in order to have a good employee-employer relationship, you should be empathetic in your nature. And in order to have a good vendor-producer relationship, in order to have a good, producer and consumer relationship, you need to have a very empathetic nature. So being empathetic is nothing but understanding others' emotions even without talking to them. That is what the virtue of your empathy. Now, next topic is your self-confidence. What do you mean by self-confidence? This is the area where normally students used to say that I'm very shy, sir, I'm not that confident enough to talk in front of class, I'm not good in public speaking and all those things. But take it from me, let me tell you, self-confidence is one thing that actually plays a very pivotal role in your career development. If you are self-confident or if you are highly motivated, you can actually conquer whatever things you want. You can actually achieve whatever goals you have set up. So let's see what is self-confidence. Self-confidence is a positive attitude wherein the individual has some positive and realistic view of himself with respect to the situation in which he or she gets involved. So self-confidence is basically, it's a kind of a realization where you are. What is your strength? What is your areas to be improved? What are the activities you are best in? So self-confidence is basically can be explained as a realization. It is an understanding of each individual. Like, for example, if I take my case, if I say that I'm very confident, in what sense? Yes, I'm very confident. I can actually, speak to others. I don't have that stage fear to go and speak to an 10K or 20K people in an auditorium or something like that. So when I say that public speaking is my area of strength, I realized from self-confidence that I have a good public speaking capacity. So basically, your self-confidence deals with the understanding, realizing your strength. Now, the people with self-confidence exhibit courage to get into action and unshakable faith in their abilities. And once you attain a level of self-confidence, then you don't have that fear of doing things. You will take responsibilities, you will take up duties, you will take up the responsibilities, you will take the task and do it in a very creative manner. So the basic requirement for anything and everything is your self-confidence. So when you have self-confidence, you can actually boost your creativity, your innovations, and the rest of the things happens in the course of time. The self-confidence in a person depends, or it actually develops a sense of partnership, respect, and accountability. So when you are self-confident and you are highly motivated, it actually promotes partnership, respect, and accountability too. Now, the people with self-confidence have the following characteristics. This is for your knowledge. Just listen to the points. A self-assured standard. That means you have your own stand. I mean, you have your own principles, you have your own ideology. If you're self-confident, you're clear with what you want to do. And you're crystal clear about the career goals, what things that you have to achieve in your life and things like that. Willingness or willing to listen, to learn from others and adapt. And if you're a self-confident or if you're a confident person, you're ready to listen from others. You're ready to accept good ideas from others in order to make a good project, or in order to make, or in order to finish, or in order to complete a task in a very good manner. Now, frank to speak the truth. And you will be, or you have a courage to speak truth always if you have self-confidence. And if you're confident, you respect others' effort and give due credit. If somebody have done a very good job, you don't have any issues. Go personally say that excellent job, spectacular one. That actually comes from the confidence level. Now, where this whole concept of self-confidence derives from, what are the sources of self-confidence? The source of self-confidence, the first one is hereditary. It is inherent in nature. It is hereditary. Like there are people who actually gets the self-confidence from their parents itself. They are hereditary in nature. Friendship. Friendship means from the peer group, from the friends you are with. If you are with a very highly motivated team of students, then automatically your level of confidence boosts up. Influence of superiors and role models. And if you have a role model, if you have good teachers, if you have good elder people, if you have good cousins, your relatives, everyone, if you have a very good highly motivated people around you, automatically your self-confidence boosts up. Training in the organization. Normally people with low confidence level goes for trainings. They have this personality development classes, personality development coachings. So through training also we can actually improve the confidence level. Last one, self-talk and SWOT analysis. In my opinion, the best way to increase your self-confidence is self-talk. You need to talk to yourself. Try to realize what is your strength, what is the areas to be improved, and work on it. If you say that your English is very bad, that is your area to be improved, then work on it. Read books, listen to good music, English music, listen to good English movies. Try to understand the words. Then you can actually increase the vocabulary as such. So that's how we can actually, increase our confidence. The SWOT analysis deals with, the SWOT stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. You need to do it on your own way. What is your strength? Write in a piece of paper. What is your strength? What is your weakness? What is your opportunities? What is your threats? And then work on it, improve on it. All right. The last topic from module 1 is your social expectations, and I would like to put an end to this particular topic and this particular module with a small definition of social expectation. So social expectation is nothing but what exactly society is expecting from you. That is what social expectation. So social expectations are ideas that how someone in our social surrounding will behave in future or in a specific situation. In a very given specific closed environment, how best or how expected or how morally you behave in the society. That's what we call it as your social expectations. So with that, we come to the end of the very first module, module 1 of professional ethics, which we call it as human values. So we started with the whole concept of value. I think we have covered more than 15-20 topics. So for your knowledge, let me tell you one thing. Module 1 of professional ethics is more about your basic concepts. So for exam point of view, just study the concept, study the definition, merits, demerits, and the different aspects of this particular concept. So module 1 is purely theoretical in nature. So that's about the module 1 of professional ethics. We will be back with more videos of module 2 of professional ethics in the coming sessions. Thank you.